So I definitely have analysis paralysis where I try to make decisions and then I overthink every single decision. Where should I live? What project should I work on right now? What should I have for breakfast? And you hear about like these top level thinkers and doers like a Steve Jobs who end up wearing like the same clothes every day because they recognize that like you have a wallet of energy, a wallet of brain power. And if you're going to use it for the small things, it's not going to really be there for the big things. And it's completely true. And we all catch ourselves in the world of what if. You know, what if this happens? What if that happens? And that in itself creates a lot of fear. And then we can overthink it. And then all of a sudden, nothing gets done. I'm super guilty of this. And all of a sudden, a bunch of time goes by and nothing happens. And that's where you start to see like the value of like the Nike slogan, just do it. Just like, fuck it, just do it. Don't overthink it. Just make it happen. And I've been trying that lately and it hasn't been, you know, I'm not going to lie and say like, oh, and everything has worked out perfectly. Sometimes I've, you know, shot at the hip too quickly and then it bit me in the ass. Sometimes I've made a decision without doing enough research and, you know, that bit me in the ass. And I think it's less about whether the outcome works out in your favor. It's more about celebrating the fact that you did something, that you took a step, that you made some progress. And from that standpoint, I think it's really important because we can overthink ourselves forever. You know, in the art world, you're creating a piece of art, you're writing a book, you're making a song, you're painting a picture. How do you know you're done? You don't. So you have to, you know, art is always an art in progress. So you give yourself a deadline. You're just like, fuck it. Has to be done by 5 p.m. or this has to be done by the end of the week. And then after that, I'm sure there's more changes I want to make, but I'm not going to make them. We just got to keep moving forward. Your best teacher are your mistakes and you're not going to know until you try. This is something, and it creates momentum as well. So I realized this, you know, sometimes it's late at night and something has to get done and I won't do it because I'm tired or I'm exhausted or I'm insecure about what direction to go in. And in the morning, I'm a little bit more energized and I'm like, I can do a better job of this. But that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, I'm going to make the right decision. And making the right decision shouldn't be the priority, you know. It's not you win or you lose or you succeed or you fail. It either works out or you learn something. And when you learn something, that means it worked out on some capacity. It's win or learn. And we have to value that learning. There are some high level performers where that learning, that making a mistake, what oftentimes people call failure, they're addicted to it because you gain so much knowledge from that, especially if you're a lifelong learner. And that's where I'm trying to get myself to. I'm trying to get myself to a place where it's like, look, if things don't work out, it's not the end of the world. And you learn something new. And now you know one more way not to do it. And when you go back into your own personal history of life, that's what you've been doing. You've been making a bunch of mistakes. And you've been learning from the mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes are harsh. Sometimes those mistakes cause trauma. Sometimes those mistakes really have an impact on who we are. And you got to lick your wounds and you got to rest. You got to recover. And that's okay too. You know, that's been happening since we were kids. We would go out a little too far, get bit in the ass, and then we'd run back home to what we know, what was comfortable. We can't stay home. We can't stay in the world of what's comfortable. We have to keep venturing out. We got to learn, go a little too far, get burned, go back to what we know, recover, go out a little farther. That's life. And that's what I've been trying to do with myself, trying to do different things. Trying to think ahead, trying not to just regret. I hesitated on a couple of decisions, and that's hurt me just as much as making the wrong decisions. So I think movement is medicine. Doing something is better than doing nothing. Finished is better than perfect. Done is better than great. Whether you're talking about art, whether you're trying to talk about starting that business, whether you're talking about having that awkward conversation, movement matters. So I hope you guys join me on this journey of doing more getting out of our heads and acting and celebrating the fact that we acted, knowing that none of us own a crystal ball and know how things are going to play out. And most of the highest level performers, most of the most accomplished individuals on whatever metrics you measure accomplishment on are people that just do it. You know, they foolishly dive into things, and sometimes they get their butt kicked, and many times it works out. And I believe it was Master P or somebody, and they're like, you only have to win once. You only have to be right once, you know, for this stuff to pop off, especially in the world of business and art. So I'm going to leave y'all with that thought, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on all of that. So hit me up. Love.